The Catharina Sour comes from southern Brazil, and its signature characteristic is tropical fruit flavors like passion fruit, mango, and guava. It's relatively new to the BJCP guidelines, which are the rules that govern brewing competitions, but it seems to overlap with a few existing styles. It's definitely not a fruited Berliner Weisse. In fairness, it's a bit stronger of a beer, ranging from 4 to 5.5% ABV, but just like a Berliner Weisse, this beer is made from a 50-50 mix of pilsner and wheat malt. Add a modest hop addition, some acidity, and a whole lot of fruit, and you've got yourself a Catharina Sour. Now, let's make some beer. Alright, I've got some reverse osmosis water in the kettle, and I'm adding some water agents to create a nice, crisp finish in the beer. I'll also add some lactic acid to adjust the mash pH to 5.3. In a pinch, untreated spring water could work well here, but I highly recommend being intentional with your brewing water. Next, I'm milling that 50-50 mix of pilsner and wheat malt, and I'm targeting an original gravity of 1042. Now that's just above that 4% ABV mark, but keep in mind that the fruit will likely add a few points, even if you don't want it to. Let's get it going. Now I'll keep mashing this in until everything is nice and saturated, and then wait a few minutes before starting the recirculation. We started at 104 Fahrenheit or 40 Celsius, and we'll quickly ramp up to 148 for 30 minutes, and then 158 for 15 minutes. Cool, just like that, it's time to yank these grains and get our boil started. With the basket up and out of the kettle, I'll recirculate the wort through the grain bed for about 10 minutes before cold sparging. We're up to a full boil, and it's time for the one and only hop addition. These 3 measly grams of citra hops will boil in the kettle for the next 30 minutes before we chill everything down for fermentation. At the end of the boil, I'm connecting my oxygenation stone and transferring to the fermenter, where it will be introduced to Lalllemand's Philly sour yeast and hang out around 68 Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius for the next couple weeks. Alright, fermentation is complete, and this beer is sitting at a steady 1.009 original gravity. Time for probably the most important component, the fruit. It's also the most expensive component, as this box cost me around $65 US. For that, I got 4.4 pounds or half a gallon each of passion fruit and mango puree. I'll add all of that and a little potassium metabisulfite to the keg and then transfer about 3 gallons of our base beer on top. Hopefully that will inhibit further fermentation as the beer conditions. Now, let's see how this beer turned out. Wow, what a killer summer beer. First of all, shout out to Fierce Fruit for the amazing fruit flavor. Not sponsored and I paid full price, but this beer wouldn't be what it is without that fruit. And that's right in line with the style guidelines. We've got this super vibrant golden yellow appearance with next to no head, and we couldn't resist the opportunity to let it shine in the garden. The appearance, the aroma, the flavor, everything points back to the passion fruit and mango. I feel like the sweetness of the wheat malt supports the fruit flavor and helps round out the mouthfeel. I can't taste any hops, funky notes, or off flavors. A couple of these and a breakfast burrito sounds like the perfect Sunday brunch. Overall, I'm stoked with these results and I highly recommend using the recipe below to try it for yourself. But at $65, it might be worth getting creative with the fruit additions. There's a reason this style comes from Brazil. Maybe instead of using tropical fruits, you can try this out with the fruit that grows well where you live. My name's Dan, this is Hops and Gnarly. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you again soon.